Imagine waking up feeling energized, clear, and fully switched on, even in your later years. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a future quietly within your reach, and it goes far deeper than what's on your plate. Hi, I'm Rusty Cottrell, physical therapist. I've been interested in anti-aging and living as long as healthy as possible since I was 15.
And I'm Debbie Cottrell, registered dietitian, also very much into thriving into our golden years and to longevity, as well as functional medicine. Today we're going to dive into a new frontier of longevity, not just eating well, but tapping into your body's built-in ability to repair and renew and defend itself.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you're searching for the edge that transforms getting older into staying vibrant, activation is the lever you've been looking for. Let's explore it.
So we've been chasing health for a number of years, and we've made changes throughout the years. We've made some more recent changes as well.
It's evolved.
Definitely, it's evolved. I mean, we were vegan for a while. Well, I should say plant-based for a while. Those of you who do eat honey know that you're not vegan. So we were plant-based, and more recently we came across information about alkalinizing the body and also eating more nutrient-dense foods, because you can be plant-based and not be eating nutrient-dense.
The more raw foods, we went into more raw foods that are enzyme-rich.
That was another change, yes, that we made that actually made a difference in how we felt and our overall health. So they were important.
We got mega raw when we got into juicing, and then juice powders as more simple, easy to do. Not quite as the quality, but still really good. And then various supplements that we were taking, hoping it was going to help us.
And realizing it's a whole lifestyle, though. It's not just what we eat. I mean, exercise is important, water, sunlight, being careful about not eating too much, temperance in the things that aren't good for you as well. Also making sure we got proper rest and fresh air.
Here in Hawaii, we get really good fresh air.
That's right.
For the most part.
So realizing that it's more than diet, but it's a whole lifestyle that leads to healthy, vibrant longevity.
But still, with that, what we've just shared and with our lifestyle, you were still having issues. I was starting to feel stiff at 57, playing basketball with these young kids. And so we still wanted to find something more, another edge.
That's right. So we began to notice that diminishing function, not the amount of vibrancy that we had wished for in our later years. And maybe you've noticed something similar. Maybe you've tried all the magic bullets and still found that your health was declining.
Well, we were working out hard. We were swimming 3 days a week in the ocean, open water swimming. We were lifting weights twice a week. We were cycling, playing pickleball. I was playing ultimate frisbee. So had the active exercise down, that's for sure, but still feeling that stiffness when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and I noticed that my heart just wasn't functioning all top notch. And it was a little unnerving, and I'm not one to do the pharmaceuticals, so I just decided, okay, I'm gonna do everything I possibly can to make sure that I'm living the lifestyle that I need to live.
Maybe you've been looking for that magic bullet and still found your health declining. Well, we've been there too.
Then we learned something very, very important that we wanted to share with you today: how to flip the switch in our systems. You can be putting all the right things in, but if the genetic switch is not flipped to use those nutrients to help you to function, to help your genes to function how they're supposed to, then the supplements aren't going to make that big a difference.
Well, let's just take collagen, for example. So people take collagen. A lot of people take collagen.
A lot of people take collagen.
Okay, but you have genes that are cued, in a sense, for making collagen. If those genes are underexpressed, guess what? You don't make much collagen. If your gene is overexpressed, that actually tears it apart. You can take all the collagen you want, and you're still not going to make a great change. So what we've learned is how to flip the switch on the genes that make collagen. That's just one thing that we have.
And even more recently, you've probably heard a lot about gut health. Well, we realize now that when your gut isn't functioning properly, when all those genes that are within all those gut cells aren't functioning well, you can have all kinds of issues because you're not going to be even absorbing the nutrients that you're taking in.
Yeah. We've learned about oxidative stress and how it affects the way your genes express themselves. So you're having this major stress from oxidation, free radicals, and now the genes that you need to be expressed to help fight that is underexpressed. For example, you tried to take glutathione for some issues. Well, your body just breaks that down. So what if the 5 genes in your genome that are cued for making glutathione are underactivated?
Then
you don't make very much.
You're not going to make much.
And hence you had the heart issues that persisted over the years until you got activated. Then the 5 genes that make glutathione, for example, that's wonderful antioxidant endogenous enzyme that your cells can make if the genes are activated to make it. And then what happened?
Once the activation kicked in, then all of those genes that were supposed to be functioning to help all of my organs, including my heart, to function properly, began to function like they were supposed to. And that's when I noticed a huge difference in heart function and haven't had any issues in 11 years. Very grateful for that. So you might be thinking, how in the world do you reset genes? If they're not functioning correctly, if one's overexpressed or underexpressed, is it possible to actually reset those genes, to flip the switch, so to speak, to make them function like they were supposed to?
Well, there's pathways. It's not just a few genes here and there. There's pathways that actually target up to 600 genes for this one, 2,000 genes for that one, are all within that one pathway. So you flip that one switch on that pathway, and then all of a sudden those 600 genes do what they're supposed to do. Those 2,000 genes do what they're supposed to do. And that's amazing.
That's incredible. Our son tunes pianos, and it's fascinating to watch him when he's at work. And there's multiple strings for each key that's played. And each string has to be keyed in, tuned in just correctly. In fact, we were listening to something the other day, and he was saying, oh, you can hear that piano, the 3 strings on that note, they are not tuned correctly together. He could hear it. It was amazing. And I could just hear that it was out of key. So the interesting thing was, as he's working on it, each one of those has to be tuned. But could you just imagine if, what his workload would be if there was a master key, if there was a master string that he could tune that one string, and voila, all of the other strings would be tuned. I mean, that would be amazing. Every piano tuner would want that.
That's a good way of describing supplementation versus activation. Supplementation is tuning each string by itself with a missing nutrient or whatever, versus one nutrient that then targets that pathway that resets all those strings, as our metaphor for genes. Imagine a huge corporate building, many different rooms and offices, and each one has a spigot for the water to come out if there's a fire. Imagine being the person that had to run into every single room and flip that on, or the person that goes to one master switch and flips that, every single spigot in the whole building turns on and water in every single room. That's the difference between activation and supplementation.
So you were probably thinking, yeah, right, there's not just one master switch for tuning a piano. There's not just, well, there is a master switch for turning on water spigots. But how could there be a master switch or master switches for turning on and activating our genes, or actually normalizing our genes to function normally? But the reality is, the body is so amazing, and there are amazing pathways in the body that once those pathways are activated, they actually do tune the genes to function like they were supposed to.
The ones connected to that pathway.
The ones connected to that pathway.
For example, you have a whole pathway called the survival genes. between 200 to 600 genes that are all, their job is to keep that cell surviving and doing its job. Then you have genes that are for mitochondrial biogenesis. Mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cell. Then you have different pathways for every different thing.
You're probably thinking, yeah, right. There's no way that you can tune a piano by just tuning one string. There is a way to stop a fire, within a corporate building by flipping a master switch and having it rain on every single room. But the reality is, there are amazing pathways within our own bodies that when those pathways are activated, when the switch is flipped, so to speak, in that pathway, that you actually do tune, your body does tune each of those genes to function like it was supposed to.
The first activator that we were introduced to was actually shown on ABC Primetime Investigative Reports in 2005. They found out that there was this miracle breakthrough in the Wall Street Journal, and so ABC Primetime goes in with their cameras, and they love to expose fraud, and they found that it worked. John Quinones' blood went down 45% in oxidative stress, which was just amazing. So we started taking that, and you noticed some huge things with your heart. I noticed I didn't feel stiff anymore, and just more energy and that. Then they added another activator, a different pathway that actually turns on mitochondrial biogenesis. Well, now you have more energy, more oxygen efficiency, and all of a sudden my swimming sprints were just like a whole new level of ability. Then they added another activator that recycles the available NAD in your body and makes it usable again. Now people in Hollywood are going to get $800 a pop, IV NAD. Well, that doesn't really work that well because your body has to break it down and then redo it. And so we're actually going from the genetic level, turning on the recycling process, and it goes right where it's needed. And that's the amazing thing. Those three we call the tri-synergizer in a sense.
And I'm going to back up just a little bit, because when that ABC investigative report aired, there were many, many biochemists in various universities that saw that. They knew the formulator's stellar reputation, that he had discovered a molecule called SOD. It's measured in the units are measured in his name. And they decided that this needed to be studied in various and sundry circumstances, and how flipping that switch would actually change various organs of the body. One university, Louisiana State, decided to look at how activating the NRF2 pathway would affect skin cancer in mice. They found a significant benefit, so much so that they actually contacted the company and said, what about making something that will activate NRF2 topically to actually
on the outside,
help from the outside in? And so the company did. They made an NRF2 activating skincare line that is absolutely phenomenal. And you noticed a huge difference with your skin.
Well, my son, I called him on FaceTime after 2 weeks of using it, and he was stunned. He looked at me silent. Finally, he broke the silence. He said, "Dad, what happened to your face?" In 2 weeks. Now, I noticed it really significant because we swim in the ocean, and there's Portuguese man of war or little jellyfish that are every now and then in the water, and we get stung. It's worse than a bee sting or a wasp sting, and it lasts a long time, many days. And I got stung in the face, but I kept swimming because I'm an exercise fanatic. And 20 minutes later, I go into the car, and I actually had some of that NRF2 activating skin lotion, and I put it on the area where I'd been stung, and in 5 minutes the welt was gone, the swelling was gone, the pain was gone. It was absolutely amazing. I've never had anything work like that before.
In all the years that we've lived here,
Yes.
and all of our family members being stung, 5 minutes is unheard of. It usually takes a week. It's kind of like a bee sting. You go through the redness, the pain, the swelling,
Itching.
slowly subsiding into the itching until it finally goes away about a week later. And 5 minutes was amazing. And you weren't the only one. I mean, I've tried it. Other people have tried it because we get stung on a fairly regular basis.
So I knew that NRF2 activation was real just from the experiencing it in the skin. Then we had a drink that activates NRF2 in your brain specifically. And that was a huge shift for anyone having brain fog or any of those kind of things.
Anyone struggling with brain issues, maybe they'd had a traumatic brain injury, maybe they struggled with ADHD, and all of those things were benefited by being able to activate that NRF2 pathway in the brain.
Then more recently, they came out with a collagen product, and I thought, oh no, we're getting into collagen. But then we found out we're activating collagen, the genes that make collagen in your body. And so I'd had a toe injury a couple different times playing soccer and broke it. And so when I play ultimate frisbee or real active on pickleball or something like that, I would start to have pain after 30, 40 minutes of being on my foot. After 2 weeks of the activated collagen, no more pain. Then they ran out because everyone wanted it and it was on back order and the pain came back. So when it came back in and I got back on it, within 2 weeks the pain was gone. I don't have the pain anymore, but I stay on it. So it's helping my body to make that collagen that I need, and it's also down-regulating the gene that breaks it down too fast.
So significant help with activating our skin cells to make collagen and to slow breakdown.
And you know, you get collagen at the store, maybe Costco or wherever, and you absorb it. Absorption is very, very poor, maybe 15%, if it's a powder for sure. Liquid, maybe more absorption. Ours is like 90% absorbed, and it's turning on the genes that, again, make it in your own cells, in your own body.
And then more recently, we joined forces with another company and have found through a product that they had that we're able to activate your own gut peptides, which is significant for anyone having gut issues. It's got prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, it's got digestive enzymes, it's got greens and red powders.
All different colors.
Yeah, all the different colors of the rainbow, significant for adding healthy nutrients. But the amazing part is that it actually activates your gut cells to make the gut peptides that actually benefit and are helpful and healthful for your gut to function properly.
Well, many people today have leaky gut and then have allergies and things like that. So some of those peptides that we're able to activate actually reverse that damage done.
What if you could activate your GLP-1? Most of us don't realize that we actually do make GLP-1 in our bodies, and we have age-related decline or decline due to inflammation or other issues within the body. Well, what if you could actually flip the switch to have your body make GLP-1 like it was supposed to, so that you're not struggling with wanting to snack all the time or struggling with weight or struggling with blood sugar issues? It's possible with the activation that the company has come up with in activating the GLP-1 pathway in our bodies. We have found that we can increase GLP-1 in our systems, and you don't have to deal with the side effects of what comes with the shots.
Well, they lose 20% of their muscle mass typically with the synthetic forms of it, and then your body learns it doesn't need to make it, so then you make less. So it doesn't really help in the long run.
That's right. So anytime somebody wanted to go off of it, their body has been getting the shots and getting the GLP-1 put in, so that once they go off, their body's not making it. And then they've really shot themselves in the foot. It's almost like it's one of those things where once you start it, you can't get off of it, which is pretty sad. So when you can actually activate your body to function like it was supposed to in a healthy way, you don't have the negative side effects.
Right. We call it make it or take it. Essentially, we're using those genetic pathways to make our own versus taking it.
So you've heard a lot about activation today. You've heard a lot about the products that activate all these different pathways to actually help us to have vibrant life into our golden years. If you'd like to have more information, please reach out to us, because we'd love to share this with you.
You can either choose to take it, you can also choose to join our team and help us spread this wonderful news around the world.
We're definitely looking for like-minded people who are passionate about helping others, passionate about sharing health with others, and then maybe need a side gig because, as we know, finances in this day and age are a little bit challenging. So you might need a little extra income. This is probably exactly what you're looking for.
It helped us to retire from our physical therapy practice in 2019. So if you'd like more information on the Tri-Synergizer activation science, right here.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We're glad that you have chosen to learn about activation and how we can actually have our genes function like they're supposed to into our later years. And we hope that this has been helpful for you. We hope that you actually opt in for activating your body in a healthy way so that you have great health into your golden years. Thanks again. And if you know of someone that needs this information, that maybe they're looking for something called activation to actually help them thrive, then please pass this on, hit that like button so that more people will be able to see this. And until next time,
Aloha.
aloha.